Yeehaw, I got snake eyes.
When you're with the Flintstones, have a yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time, we'll have a gay old time.
Today we're building Spear and Fang, the titular duo from the Adult Swim show Primal, a TV show that reminds us that dinosaurs in fact kick a lot of ass. Our goals for this build are pretty simple. We need to build a prehistoric Jurassic ass kicker by the name of Spear, killing dinosaurs and all kinds of Mesozoic beasts, so anything we can get our hands on. We also need to be angry enough to get these beasts down across multiple different eras we're stomping through. And we of course need a giant T-Rex to ride into battle with, or the next best thing. This beast can also definitely hold their own against other monstrous threats. We get 4 boosts at level 1, put them in the Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. But the size of Spear's muscles and the lack of words he shares with the audience, I don't suspect we're pumping a lot of intelligence into this build. But we're boasting a lot of strength, which is really good. Despite being more Neanderthal than Homo sapien, if my C in anthropology means anything to anyone, your ancestry is going to be a human. You get 8 hit points at level 1, you're a size medium, you get a speed of 25 feet, and for a versatile heritage, pick adopted ancestry and go orc. So we get some Neanderthal beefiness in this build. For background, because you carry that spear, I'm suggesting you eat a lot more meat, then you go around hunting for berries or edible fauna. So we're going to go with hunter. You get 2 boosts, put them in the Dexterity or Wisdom. I put mine in Dexterity and pick your free one into Strength. You're trained the Survival skill and the Tanning Lore skill, so you can hunt something and then wear it later after you eat it. And you also get the Survey Wildlife skill feat. You should come to no surprise that if your main go-to is to kill anything like a raging lunatic, you're going to be a barbarian. You get an Expert in Perception, Fortitude, and Will, and you're trained in Reflex saves. You're trained in Athletics, and a number of skills equal to your Intelligence modifier. You just have 3 points, so put them into Acrobatics, Intimidation, and Nature. And for attacks, you're trained in simple martial weapons and unarmed attacks, and defenses, you're trained in light, medium, and unarmored defense, and you're also trained in the Barbarian class DC. As a Barbarian, you get to Rage. While you're raging, you get a temporary hit points equal to your level plus your Constitution modifier. This lasts for 1 minute or until there are no more enemies you can receive, or you fall unconscious, whichever one comes first. You can't voluntarily stop raging, and while you are raging, you deal additional 2 damage with your melee strikes, unless this damage is of course halved by using it as an agile weapon. You take a -1 to your AC, you can't use action with the Concentrate trait unless they have the Rage trait, and you can seek while you're raging. As for Instinct, I think Spear is really using his namesake more than anything else, so we're going to go with Fury. It's simple and to the point. We get a first level Barbarian feat, and I think Sudden Charge is a great way to start the fight off with the Spear Thrust. And for our Barbarian feat, this levels get Raging Thrower, so you can hug spears and rocks with your additional Barbarian Strength damage. Starting at the 2nd level, I'm noticing that there's severe lack of dinosaurs in this build, so since we already have a Spear, we're going to go get Fang. Go Beastmaster archetype, pick a Dromasaur for our stand-in for Fang until we can get her bigger. She starts out as size small, she has a Jaws and Talon attack as a D8 and D6 damage respectively. She has 6 hit points at this level, she has 50-foot speed, and for her support benefit, she can dart into a flanking position. And for our skill feat at this level is pick up Ride, so we can automatically succeed ride checks instead of needing to attempt them, so we can just start riding Fang as soon as she gets big enough for us to hop on the back of. At the 3rd level, we get Deny Advantage. You are flat-footed to hidden, undetected, or flanking creatures of your level or lower, or creatures your level or lower using surprise attack, however they can still use their allies to flank. For our general feat, let's get Toughness to increase our health by our level, and for our skill increase, let's get Athletics up to Expert, because Spear can move surprisingly quick, he's very, very strong, and he has mad hops. At the 4th level, we get a Barbarian feat, so let's get the Second Wind. You can rage without waiting the 1 minute after the previous rage, or 1 round with Quick Rage, but when you end this second rage, you're fatigued until you rest for 10 minutes. And for our skill feat, let's get Titan Wrestler, so you can disarm, grapple, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 sizes larger than you, or 3 sizes larger than you when we get Legendary in Athletics, which is really good for wrestling dinosaurs. At the 5th level, we get ability boosts, put them in Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. Get Ancestry feat, get Orc Ferocity. When you'll be knocked down to below 0 but not killed, you can avoid being knocked out and remain at 1 HP, and your wound condition increases by 1. We also get a skill increase, we get Survival up to Expert, and we also get Brutality at this level. You get Simple, Martial Weapons, and Unarmed Strikes increased to Expert, and while raging you gain access to the critical specialization effects for melee weapons and unarmed strikes. At the 6th level, we get a Barbarian feat, and it's time to get Fang up to a bigger size, and let's get Mature Beastmaster Companion. During an encounter, even if you don't use the command action for an animal attack, the animal can still use 1 action on your turn to either stride or strike. It increases your Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom modifiers by 1, increases unarmed attack damage by 1 die to 2, so 1d8 goes to 2d8, and its proficiency rank in Perception, all saving throws increases to Expert. You increase its proficiency ranks in Intimidation, Stealth, and Survival to Trained, and if it's already trained in one of those skills, it increases to Expert. If you're a medium size or smaller, we're a small right now, it goes with the medium size by the end of this level. And for our skill feat, let's get Powerful Leap. For when you jump, you can jump 5 feet up vertically and increase the distance you jump horizontally by 5 as well. At the 7th level, we get a skill increase, get Athletics up to Master. We also get Juggernaut. The proficiency rank in Fortitude saves increases to Master. When you roll success on a Fortitude save, you get critical success instead. For our general field, let's get Die Hard to die the dying condition of 5 instead of 4. And we also get Weapon Specialization at this level. You gain an additional 2 damage weapons or armed strikes in which you have expert proficiency in, and this increases to 3 if you're a master in them. At the 8th level, we get a Barbarian field, so we get Sudden Leap for some truly dangerous jump attacks. You make a leap, high jump, or long jump and attempt one melee strike at any point during your jump. Immediately after your strike, you fall to the ground if you're in the air, even if you haven't reached the maximum distance of your jump. If the distance you fall is more than the height of your jump, you take no damage and land upright. And when you get a skill feat at this level, pick Quick Jump, and your high jump and long jump become a single action instead of 2 actions, so you can jump and attack with just 1 action instead of 2. At the 9th level, we get Undying Ferocity. Use your Orc Ferocity to gain temporary hit points equal to your level, on top of what you get from Barbarian Raging. You also get Lightning Reflexes. Your proficiency rank in Reflex saves increases to Expert. You also get Raging Resistance at this level. While you're raging, you get a resistance of 3 plus your Constitution modifier to damage types based on your instinct. And for our skill increase, let's get Survival up to Master. Level 10, that means more ability boosts in the Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. He is a very big and strong boy with a lot of health, who's really good at hunting. We also get Barbarian Fields level. Let's get Incredible Beastmaster's Companion. Increase our companion's strength by 2 and his dexterity, constitution, wisdom modifiers by 1. It deals an additional 3 damage with its armed attacks. Proficiency rank increased to athletics to expert. Also learns advanced maneuver of its type. Since the medium creature, it increases to a large sized creature. Its attacks become magical for the purposes of overcoming resistances, making Fang into a large raptor or a great stand-in for a T-Rex, considering an actual T-Rex is a little too hard to wrangle than being an animal companion. But at large, Fang can still be ridden by Spear, fulfilling a major part of this build, having Spear ride Fang. And for a skill increase, let's get Experience Tracker for some great hunting skills. You can track while moving at full speed by taking a -5 penalty to your survival check. If you're a master in survival, you don't take the -5 penalty. And if you're a legendary in survival, you don't need to re-roll a new survival check every hour when tracking. You just need to roll whenever there's significant change in the trail. So, going from forest into snow, or snow into beach. At level 11, we get Mighty Rage. Your Barbarian class DC increases to Expert. And you also get the Mighty Rage free action. You can increase the actions of a triggering rage to 2 instead of a 2-action activity for a rage trait. For a skill increase, let's get Nature up to Expert. You also get a general feat, let's get Breath Control. You can hold your breath up to 25 times longer than you usually would before suffocating. You also get a +1 circumstance bonus against inhaled threats. At the 12th level, we get a Barbarian feat, so let's increase our teamwork with Shared Rage. While you're raging, one willing creature within 30 feet gains the effects of Rage, like your companion, meaning Rage can get an additional 2 damage from Rage and an extra 24 additional health when Rage starts, meaning that Fang and Spear can have a joint Rage attack. And for our skill fields, get Hefty Hollow to increase your maximum and encumbered bulk size by 2. At the 13th level, you get Greater Juggernaut. Your Fortitude saves increase to Legendary. When you roll a critical failure on a Fortitude save, you get a failure instead. When you roll a failure on a Fortitude save that ends with you taking damage, you can have the damage you take. You also get Medium Armor Expertise. Your proficiency ranks in Light, Medium, and Unarmored Defense increase to Expert. You also get Weapon Fury. Your simple and martial weapons and unarmored attacks increase to Master, meaning you're dealing +3 damage with those weapons. For a skill increase, get Nature up to Master. For Ancestors field, let's get Incredible Ferocity. You can use Orc Ferocity at the frequency of once per hour instead of once per day. At the 14th level, get a Barbarian feat. I would pick side by side. For when you and your animal companion are adjacent to the same foe, you're both flanking that foe with each other, regardless of your actual positioning. So that means Spear and Fang can work together and synergize and get lots of low AC hits off on those guys. You also get the skill fields, get Forager. While using Survival to subsist, if you roll anything worse than a success, you get a success instead. And on a success, you can provide food for not only yourself, but 4 additional creatures. On a critical success, you can take care of twice as many creatures on a success. This means we don't have to spend an entire episode watching you and Fang fight over scraps of food, only to almost drown and be eaten by giant snakes. At the 15th level, let's get ability boost, put them in the Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom to build up not only Spear's physical prowess, but also his hunting skills. For a general feat, let's get Fleet for an extra 5 feet of movement to even out at 30. And at the 15th level, we also get Greater Weapon Specialization, meaning any weapon specialization we have increases to 4, and to 6 if we're a master in weapons, meaning all our weapons are doing +6 damage now. Get Indomitable Will. to increase our will saves up to master, and when you roll success on a will save, you get a critical success instead. For a skill increase, you get athletics up to legendary to really be a physical powerhouse. And at the 16th level, we get to pick another barbarian feat, and I think it's time to focus back on Fang and pick specialized beast companion. And for our specialization, I would suggest picking bully to increase the ranks in athletics and intimidation up to expert or master if there's already an expert in that type. Increase the strength modifier by 1 and its charisma modifier by 3 because Fang is big and intimidating and likes to bite people. And for our skill, let's get cloud jump to jump good. Triple the distance on your long jump, which can be up to 60 feet on a critical success of 20. And when you high jump, use the calculation for a long jump, but don't triple the distance, meaning spear can jump really, really high. Kicking off our level 17, we get quick rage. If you spend an entire turn without raging, you can rage again without needing to wait 1 minute. We also get a skill increase. Let's get nature up to legendary to be a true master of the wilds. We also get heightened senses to increase our perception up to master. For our ancestry feat at this level, we get ferocious beasts. Animal companions or bonded animals like our companion Fang get the orc ferocity trait, and they can gain a reaction to only use orc ferocity. And since we have undying ferocity, they also get that, meaning Fang's typically low health score is going to be offset by this insane durability increase. At the 18th level, we get brutal critical, which typically I wouldn't pick, but because you have Fang on your right running offense alongside you, lowering your enemy's AC, this is really, really great. You get a critical hit on a melee strike, you can add an additional damage die on top of a weapon that's already deadly and fatal, and the target takes a persistent bleed damage equal to 2 damage die. This show is very bloody, and I think this is a great way to incorporate that blood essence into the game while maintaining flavor and being helpful at the same time. For a skill feat, you get influence nature. You can make bird calls, leave game trails, and ultimately influence the behavior of certain types of animals in a region, up to your GM's discretion. Personally, this is more for flavor and trying to hope you can like hunt things down and like incorporate the use of nature like they do in the show. At the 19th level, we get a skill increase, so let's get survival up to legendary to be truly a man of nature and one with the primordial world. For a journal feat, get incredible initiative, you get a +2 circumstance bonus to your initiative rolls. You also get devastator. Your proficiency rank in your barbarian class increases up to master. Your melee strikes ignore 10 points of your critical resistances to physical damage. And for our big cap off to our armor, we get armor fury, which means our light, medium, and unarmored defense increases to master. And for our last level, we get ability boost, put in the strength, constitution, dexterity, and charisma this time, because we cannot move wisdom past 18 without it being odd, and I'd rather put it into something useful, and you can get along with animals sometimes, so I'd pick charisma. For our barbarian feat, get unstoppable juggernaut. You gain a resistance equal to 3 plus your constitution modifier to all damage at all times, and you get a resistance from raging to 8 plus your constitution modifier. In addition, when you're reduced to 0 HP while raging, you can end your rage or reaction to stay at 1 HP. And if you do, become wounded 2. And for our last feat, get legendary survivalist. You can survive indefinitely without food or water and can endure severe, extreme, and incredible cold and heat without taking damage from doing so. Meaning that in any environment, in any world, Spear will be able to survive. With all that being said, do you want to have a yabba dabba do time as Spear and Fang? Let's talk about Fang. With 206 health, resistance while raging, great saves and intimidation, 3d10 plus 10 damage that's magical while raging, plus 20 health when activating Orc's Ferocity once an hour, and flanking increasing critical chance for everyone involved, especially Spear, makes Fang a wonderful companion to have in combat. And with Spear, he's a simple guy who's very effective. When he's not using his great hunting skills to peruse around nature and find the next meal for his team, he's dealing amazing damage with his spear, leveling out at 1d8 plus 24 strength per strike with his spear, with a combo alongside Fang being 2d8 plus 4d8 plus Fang 3d10 plus 10, making them a wonderful combo, especially when you consider side by side, increasing crit chances by all. Plus, he has 368 health and resistances while raging. He's going to be in the fight for a very long time. So, saddle up, get on the floor, and walk the dinosaur. But, in my opinion, just be careful. Don't get too comfortable in a land before time, or you might find yourself in a land that time forgot.